paid half. So the other half, I'll be paid through your excitement from the floor. If everything goes well and you are laughing, the department will settle my balance. Don't starve an African child, ladies and gentlemen. I'm depending on you. So my selector, I believe you were paid on time in cash. You can play the music. Unfortunately, I'm not from a serious background. I used to be a comedian, but I'll try hard not to make fun out of everyone here so that they can still pay the other balance. Yeah, you can press play and then play the music. It's, not yet. Ladies and gentlemen, may you all rise and welcome the Minister, Sindisiwe Chikunga, the Deputy Minister, Lisa Mangcu, and all the important dignitaries. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. You may be seated. So I was on a panic mode. Then I saw familiar faces in the department, and people called me by my name, Mashata, and it got me excited. So I'm no longer panicking, and don't be worried. I'm not going to do jokes about you, Minister. I'm from the comedy industry. But I left the industry to pursue other business interests. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, national launch of the 2023 October Transport Month campaign. #OTMSA 2023 Siyakha. Siyakha, Raha. We are building a better transport infrastructure to grow this beautiful country called South Africa. And ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure today to be here standing in front of you to emceeing the program. And without any waste of time, I'm going to request everybody to be on their feet for the singing of the national anthem of this beautiful country, Republic of South Africa. May you all stand.
Oh
There was no vuvuzela there. DJ, please make sure that the next time we have a vuvuzela on that song. We're playing the most important game on Sunday. The Springboks doing well in the Rugby World Cup 2023. Ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, I actually, every time when I do a program, I look forward for the next program. So what I do is that I start this pretending that I'm a big celebrity, which I'm not. So what I do, I take my phone and I ask you to pretend that you know me. So I introduce myself and then you must scream. And then I put that video on social media. And the other people see, oh, this guy is exciting, they like him. And then they hire me again. So please, guys, don't starve an African child. I'm going to ask you for a favor. I'm going to introduce myself. Just pretend that I'm that big guy. I know I'm not. But you'll never know. One day it can happen. Are you guys ready for that? Can I count on you? All right. So pretend like do your businesses there. Yeah. Talk about the weather. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your MC, Mashata. Sorry, I didn't press record. Can we do it one more time? No, serious, I didn't press record. I'll tell you why. Ladies and gentlemen, those in attendance and those who are here looking so beautiful, are you excited? Are you looking forward for the program? Welcome, the one and only Mashata. Wow. I didn't know that I'm a star here. I'm going to ask you a favor. Please put your phones on silence, especially Samsung Huawei. But an iPhone is fine. You can leave it there because iPhone understands the importance of the occasion. It just goes on silent, like without talking to it, without giving it instructions, it goes on silent. But Samsung, out of the blue, even it's on silent, put on silent. We call the minister to make a speech here, it goes balalala, balalala. So put it on silence. Ladies and gentlemen, Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga, the Deputy Minister Lisa Mangcu, MECs, chairpersons, CEOs, DG, members of the ESCO from different entities and departments, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. This is the most important part. If you don't get it right, you're not going to get the next assignment. Thank you so much and welcome. A very good day for you. Minister, your outfit looking super snazzy, beautiful. They said I must not talk about, but the outfit, I thought there was an opening of the parliament. I don't know what you're going to be wearing next time. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, for welcoming and acknowledgement of the guest, I'm going to call the DG, Advocate James Mlau, to come forward and officially welcome you. Let's give him a big round of applause.
Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga, Minister of Transport in the Republic, Deputy Minister Lisa Mangcu. Ladies and gentlemen, I thought my job is a simple one. I was going to start by introducing the program director, but I think he has done a far better job of it. I think if I had political ambitions, I would hire him to do my work. You see what a good job he has done. Peter Mashata, everyone, program director. You see, I even failed where you succeeded. Come on now, give the guy a big hand. Minister, Deputy Minister, stakeholders of the transport family, my job, Minister, is just to give all of us a flavor of who is here present on the occasion of your launch of the 2023 edition of the October Transport Month. So without further ado, let me do. I haven't as yet, I've seen some of the officials that work with my MECs in the various provinces. we were in a late night special min-MEC. So because I haven't as yet picked up any name, I will not introduce any MECs as yet. But I do know that among us, we've got chairpersons of the boards of our entities, Minister. So that I don't belabor this point, but also they stand acknowledged, I would ask that they rise. Some might be on the program, but some are here in the audience, so that everyone sees them. I know the chairperson of the board of Sanral. I also saw the chairperson of the RAF. These are the chairpersons of the board of your entities, Minister, who are present. We acknowledge you and we thank you for your attendance on this important occasion. I deliberately don't go to the names, Minister. We will deal with those a bit later. CEOs of the transport entities are also here, together with the board chairpersons. A lot of them are here in the program, but if, in case there are any in the audience, I would like them to rise. We are quite a family that's got a number of our entities. CEO RAF, CEO SAMSA, Ports Regulator, I see, the head of RTMC and the reps, RSR, we welcome you, colleagues. Thank you for your attendance here. I know that we've got some of your deputies, Director General, both from the department and from our provinces. I saw HOD Mpele here and several other HODs. I also saw Matabata. My colleagues, the deputies, Director General, we acknowledge you. Don't prove to people who have a difficulty standing up. Prove them wrong. There are also senior managers from our provincial and national departments. In this particular audience, Minister, you would know we've got particular beneficiaries, people who benefited from the programs that this department implements to achieve transformation. I would like them, just by a show of hands, to show that they are here from your various entities, ATNS, AXA, Sanral, SAMSA, Siyakha, CBRTA, and the department itself. If you're a beneficiary and you know yourself, rise. Or you raise your hands. Aye, sifuna niphakame sinbo. Sifuna ukuniqhwabela and say especially welcome. Come now. Yes. Thank you so very much. You are the evidence of what this department is trying to do in the sector. We'll later on in the program get to hear about yourselves and your groupings and your beneficiary groupings, what has been done, what has been achieved. May I also singularly point out, you know, Minister, Deputy Minister, we have the Shovakalula program, which is the program in which we improve non-motorized transport and enable mobility of our students, particularly in the rural settings where transport is not necessarily that available. We have among us Alafong Secondary School and learners there from, I'm told even the principal is here present. We do want to especially acknowledge them later on in the program. They are all due to receive the bicycles you see. You can see these bicycles. But Alafong, senior secondary, I'm surprised. You know, I went to school very late. Some of them are very young. Come on, you stand now. Where's the principal? We want to acknowledge you especially. Are you here? Alafong Secondary School, rise, we want to acknowledge you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You may be seated. There's even bigger contingent here. I haven't seen the CEO. In fact, I know he sent my sister there to represent him, CEO of RTMC and that MCB. But you've got the biggest contingent here of the graduates from your RTMC traffic training school program. They are uniformed. When you see them, you immediately think, have I behaved well or bad? So we can feel your presence. We want to acknowledge especially you as graduates. But I think for the benefit of this house, we'll be honored if you rise as we acknowledge you. Thank you very much. 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 Not less important, Minister, among us we've got members of the Fourth Estate, whose key importance in everything we're doing today, starting from your very morning interview, from the press club interview you had, to this session, even to what will be happening later, because later on we're going to have a long session in which we celebrate Sanral's anniversary. But one of the key components in this country of the people who help us to reach out so that everyone is heard is the members of the media. Now I know they may not be here. I do see some of them have set up here. We do want to just especially acknowledge your presence, because we only end here. We are able to take the message further. I also know that there are some ministers who are not here. They are waiting on our corridor, particularly those from the radio fraternity. I saw a number of stations that will be interacting with some of you in the audience. So that's my task today, Minister, is just to say, good people, we are here to launch this program, but we are much honored to have you as various stakeholders partaking on today's event. Program Director, I thank you, sir, and I take my leave. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
DG's speech took 12 minutes and 50 seconds. Currently, the DG is the one who's holding the longest record. Let's give him a big round of applause. I did not say anyone can come and attempt to break the record. I was just putting out the record there. And also, the recruitment has been, I see is with color this year. I don't see any yellow bones from the officers. Ezimnyama Gengani. There's one yellow bone, a rose among the thorns. But we are happy. The darker you are, we know that you're going to do the job. Transport, the heartbeat of South Africa's economy and social development. Ladies and gentlemen, the national launch of the 2023 October Transport Month campaign. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call Deputy Minister Lisa Mangcu to set the scene and also tell us about the purpose of the day. Deputy Minister, let's give him a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Good luck, Deputy Minister.
And break the record. That's what he didn't say. So I'm here to break the record. Thank you very much, Program Director. Minister of Transport, Ms. Sindisiwe Chikunga. Director General, who just broke the record here of transport, Advocate James Mlau, chairpersons and CEOs of our entities, captains of industry, most importantly, all the beneficiaries who are just introduced now by the Program Director. Program Director, I'd be failing in my duty if I don't advise you nicely that you need to check who's going to pay you at the end of this program. There is something in government called an accounting officer. In other words, it's called a Director General. These are the people who pay even the minister and my salary. So I'm just putting it out there, Program Director. I'm not saying anything, just putting it out there. Members of the media present, we have already been acknowledged. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone who's here, those who made us tea, everyone who's here, you are most welcome. It is indeed an honor and a great privilege for me to stand before you to deliver these opening remarks and to welcome you all on the launch of the 2023 October Transport Month. Today marks the 18th anniversary of the October Transport Month, which was approved by Cabinet in 2005 as an annual event with the aim of showcasing the country's transport achievements to the public. As a Department of Transport, through our public entities who are here today, we have been able to change the transport and economic landscape of our country. To that, let's give all our entities a big round of applause. We have done this through our investments in infrastructure, skills development, and have continued to apply creative approaches to achieve the desired transformation of many subsectors such as rail, civil aviation, maritime transport. Most of these were inaccessible to previously disadvantaged communities. The Minister will speak more about those as she acknowledges some of those beneficiaries, which today include mostly youth and women. Program Director, ladies and gentlemen, the theme for this year's campaign is Siyakha. We are building better transport infrastructure to grow South Africa together. The 2023 October Transport Month campaign continues to focus on service delivery and infrastructure development as in the previous years, but will also include reports on strategic policy and program reviews conducted to assess the strength of policies and programs addressing urgent transport needs of South Africans and the economy. In order to highlight the extent of effort to drive economic growth in the transport sector, we will be showcasing infrastructure projects during October. We will drive a coordinated campaign with our entities, provincial departments of transport, as well as partners in government and in the industry broadly. The coordinated campaign will demonstrate the service delivery track record and improvements in transport infrastructure provision. Transport is key in driving any developing country's economic growth and development. For example, transport enables trade and connects farmers to markets to earn an income. It fosters wealth, equality, well-being, and social inclusion, especially in our country, South Africa, where people rely on public transport in order to move. So, Program Director, transport makes it possible for people who cannot afford to own cars to connect to essential services such as education, jobs, healthcare, and workplaces. For example, a woman in a rural area can be able to access medical care on time. By so doing, prevent maternal deaths, which could be caused by delays due to lack of transport, for example. Therefore, transport stimulates investment in an area and in turn increases economic growth. South Africa's public transport systems form the backbone of the country's socio-economic activities by enabling the movement of people and products and by providing essential services to businesses. The transport and logistics industry contributes significantly to the country's GDP and offers an essential service to other sectors identified as critical drivers of economic growth in the country's economic recovery and economic reconstruction and recovery plan, especially mining, agriculture, and manufacturing, as well as tourism, amongst others. As we begin this Transport Month, we are still haunted by the scourge of road crashes that is refusing to go away. But we want to assure you and the public and all South Africans that government is doing everything in its power to curtail this unnecessary loss of life. The recent Constitutional Court pronouncement on ARTO, or commonly known as the demerit point system or administrative adjudication of road traffic offenses, is a testimony to the struggle that we are waging to make our roads safer. South Africa is highly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change, and we will need all hands on deck and significant international support to transition its economy and to decarbonize. Furthermore, given the country's high rate of inequality, poverty and unemployment, and the extent of dependence on a fossil fuel-based energy system and economy, this transition must take place in a way that is just, that leaves no one behind, and that sets the country onto a new, more equitable and sustainable development path, one which builds new local industries and value chains. The National Development Plan 2030 calls for South Africa to transition to low-carbon economy and climate-resilient society. So transitioning South Africa to an equitable, resilient, low-carbon green economy will require the range of economic actors, each to act strategically, and those are the people seated here today, and decidedly towards this in a coordinated manner. As we build roads, at Sanral, what type of roads are we building? What type of material are we using? As we fly the planes out of OR Tambo, CO, what type of fuel are we using? As we drive our taxis, our buses, our trucks, what type of fuel are we using? These are the things that, as a department, we are looking on. In conclusion, Program Director, our launch is also graced by several other beneficiaries which have been mentioned by the DG earlier, of the Departmental Human Capital Development Program across sectors, some of whom the Minister will introduce properly as she delivers the keynote address. We will continue to build and sustain partnerships with various centers of research and learning to ensure a steady pipeline of 21st century transport professionals and a growing legion of transport experts, businesses, trainees, and learners. Today, we welcome a group of 50 learners that are receiving bicycles, that has already been mentioned, and not only as a part of promoting the use of non-motorized transport for particular environmental aims that I spoke about earlier, but equally as a means of easing mobility and meeting educational needs simultaneously. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your attention.
Deputy Minister, it's not even about the record. It is about your speech that touched the hearts of the people who are here. Forget about the record. Even the DG, when he started by greeting everybody, you feel welcome when somebody greets you. Gentlemen, I thank you. I thank you. Yatsena payment. Payment there, Yatsena mola. For those who were struggling with network for the past weekend, the score was Sundown's 2, Chiefs 1. Sometimes you must always keep people up to date. There's someone who forgot their phone at the holding room. It's a Samsung. I must emphasize. So please make sure that you see the program director, and I'll hand over the phone to you. I hope you know the password. That's key. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call CEOs from transport entities to give testimony. I'm going to start from AXA, Mrs. Mpumi Mpofu, to come to the podium and give a testimony. Let's give her a big round of applause.
Thank you very much, Program Director. Let me start by recognizing the presence of the Minister of Transport and Deputy Minister, the MECs present, the Director General, chairpersons of boards, and fellow CEOs, and our various beneficiary groups that are here with us as we celebrate this very important milestone. I represent Airports Company South Africa, an entity established in 1993 with a mandate to manage 9 of South Africa's airports. That number of 9 is as a part of 1,300 unlicensed aerodromes in the country and a further 135 licensed aerodromes and also 19 military airports. Our mandate, though, is to manage those airports that are commercially operated with scheduled services, and our network capacity over the years has grown tremendously. In the 30 years of AXA, we have moved from, I wonder how many people recall, Jan Smuts Airport to OR Tambo now. And this growth has been phenomenal. It's been led by this democratic government. It has been driven by a strong leadership at AXA that has ensured a growth to world-class airports that we have in this network. Our total capacity is 54 million passengers, the largest of which is OR Tambo, which is able to carry 28 million passengers, 15 million passengers in Cape Town International as it is been developed, and King Shaka manages 7.5 million. The importance of the performance of this network of airports is that it has contributed immensely, up to 50 billion annually, contribution to the network's contribution to GDP, and that means the benefit we are able to ensure in the aviation sector directly through our airports, and most importantly through the jobs that we create. Our capital investment program over the years has been extensive at the average of about 7 billion per year. In the muted years of COVID, we were only able to cap and invest 1 billion in capital expenditure per year. I'm happy to indicate over the next 5 years, our capital program will increase to 21 billion over that particular period. We've created on the average of 95,000 jobs, direct and indirect, and about 30 of those have been directly those that are employed in our network, in our surrounding areas. Our real performance is in the commercial operations of the airport, and those commercial operations include retail, construction, property development, advertising, parking, jet fuel provision, and in all those areas we've been able to make a marked improvement in the transformation to allow for black business participation in the 30 years that we have evolved. More importantly, AXA literally runs an aggressive transformation program which sees us ensuring up to about 60% of our commercial revenue dedicated, set aside for black businesses. What is also important is that we contribute to a socio-economic development program, and I am told that our beneficiaries from Kids Haven are meant to be in the room. I'm not sure if they are here, and I'll just ask that they rise. Hey, ta, Kids Haven, hey, ta! These are various community groupings that we provide benefits to, initially through our social investment program, but more increasingly, as we have defined the importance of our surrounding communities at Airports Company, the communities that are part of our airports, that are surrounding our airports, we aim to expand this significantly over the years. So we provide support to schools, we provide supports to principal education, where in one school we're able to shift the performance of matriculants from 30% pass rates to 100% pass rates. We provide support to early childhood development programs. We provide support to women development programs in the communities that are around us. We truly believe that this stakeholder group constitutes part of the airport community, and as such must see themselves as owning and being the direct contributors to a successful airport operations. What we've also had is an extensive skills development program, which includes the job creation that we're able to contribute towards in general, but more specifically jobs created in the aviation sector. We have developed significant programs that have allowed for technical skills in aviation, and particularly airports management, engineering in the construction sector, and also airport operations in the various technical IT-based airport operation systems. We have recently signed up through Airports Council International, Africa, an agreement for the formal recognition by the South African Qualifications Authority of the skills that we provide through our training academy with UCT University, who are currently finalizing the discussions with Gibbs in Johannesburg, for a formal recognition of a postgraduate diploma and a master's in the aviation training area. And that will enable us to widely ensure the portability of the skills that we provide. We're also proud to indicate the existence of our academy, the AXA Academy, which over the years has ensured training and skills development in the various areas, and particularly aviation security, which is critical to the operation of our airports. Our contribution to the economy is significant. We are also, in the years to come, expanding our footprint to other airports outside of the legislated 9. We currently contract and are contracted by municipalities and provinces to ensure that we manage airports on their behalf. The airports that we have managed include Bilansberg in the northwest. We currently are managing the airport of Richards Bay, but also importantly, Vanderboom in Pretoria. Our expansion programs will include expanding to the African continent. We've been invited to ensure that we also participate in developing, managing, and operating airports on the African continent. And that means we will be able to spread the opportunities for transformation, skills development, and our programs at airports to everywhere where AXA has a presence. Minister, I'd like to thank you.
I need to be very sensitive making this appeal because I'm with the CEOs here, and I normally fly, but I never flew business class. And I can't tell them that they must not be long on their speeches, but lunch has to be served at 2 o'clock, if latest 2:30, and I'm looking at the time. I think we're slightly delayed. So I'm going to appeal to the CEOs to be mindful of that, but I'm not saying they must cut short their speeches because we want to hear. So it's just a beautiful, nice appeal. Without any waste of time, I'm going to call from CBRTA, Mr. Lwazimboi, to come and give a testimony.
Thank you very much. I'm hoping to be as short as possible. Some might say as short as I am. Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, chairpersons of our agencies and fellow CEOs, greetings to everyone in the House. I come from the Cross-Border Road Transport Agency, one of the agencies of the Department of Transport. We have a mandate to move goods, people and services across our borders to assist with that space. So we do find ourselves in the nexus of transportation and trade. So our responsibility is to make sure that everything moves as smoothly as possible across our borders. As you would know, Honorable Minister, the bulk of our freight is still on the roads. About 95% of that freight goes across the borders, it moves across on the road because of the challenges that you eloquently spoke about in the rail space in the morning. The other reality is that the bulk of the people that operate in that space are predominantly male and still predominantly white. So we have a massive responsibility to ensure that there is sufficient transformation in that space, and the Honorable Minister has been pushing us in that direction quite significantly. We didn't bring some of the beneficiaries today, but safe to say that we have started on the transformation journey. We have started with issuing licenses now to women operators who are moving freight across the borders, young people who are also moving freight across the borders. We are seeing an increase in those numbers. But as part of our transformation strategy, which is also encouraging, we've started last year issuing licenses to people with disabilities. So it is an encouraging space to be in, but of course there's still a lot of work to do, and there's still a lot of work to be done in terms of transforming the space and the sector in general. We have also, I think as part of our transformation space, been involved in some of the CSI programs with the border towns, where we work with schools in the border towns, providing equipment and facilities to the various border towns that we work with. And we are also expanding to do some work outside of our country. And in all of these, we are working very closely with South African companies, and we are driving a very hard transformation agenda to ensure that everyone that comes on board is, of course, a beneficiary of our transformation program that has been approved by our board. Finally, one of the biggest initiatives that we're launching in the next financial year, working with some of the captains of industry, is to launch, we're launching an incubation program, because we realize that as much as we're pushing people into the freight space and pushing people into the cross-border movement, which is quite hard, if you look at some of the countries that people are going into, we have to provide the capacity that is needed for those new operators to get into that space. So we're launching an incubation program in partnership with some of the captains of industry to make sure that there is sufficient space and sufficient capacity to do what needs to be done. So we'll continue in the journey, Honorable Minister, and to make sure that we support the vision of ensuring that young people are part of this journey, women are part of this journey, as well as people with disabilities. So that transformation agenda is ongoing, and we are committed to ensuring that we do what is expected of us. We congratulate you in hosting this very special event, and as transport, in spite of all the challenges, I guess we are making progress. Thank you very much.
CEO, I hope that I didn't, but that speech, short, precise, to the point, I think you deserve a selfie with me. No, DG, we are going to have a full one. Don't worry, DG. Guys, I'm not ignoring you. I know life is good down there, but here, Mashata and the minister, deputy minister, CEOs. I'm here, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, from ATNS, I'm going to welcome Mrs. Nozipho Ndawe.
This is not Nozipho Ndawe. Thank you, Program Director. I think you've put everyone who comes after under pressure. Honorable Minister, Ms. Sindisiwe Chikunga, Deputy Minister, the Director General of Transport, Advocate James Mlau, CEOs and chairpersons of various entities of the Department of Transport and other transport stakeholders. My name is Tendani Ndo. I'm standing in for Ms. Nozipho Ndawe, our CEO. I'm going to try to be short because I think I'm already under pressure. But I just want to say that a lot of people just heard that we are ATNS and they don't know what ATNS is all about. ATNS is an air traffic and navigation service provider, an entity of the Department of Transport. Our mandate is to provide air traffic management solutions. As you fly from point A to point B, it's not only the pilot that is making sure that you reach your destination safely. ATNS is sitting behind the scenes. We have designed the airspace to make sure that the pilot fly from point A to point B, following the routes like you'll have on the road, the N1, the N12, the M2. Even on the airspace here, there are different routes that have been designed by ATNS. ATNS also make their own air traffic controllers. We are a monopoly, but we don't even want to take an advantage of the fact that we are a monopoly. You have seen the minister when she talks about aviation, she talks with passion, and that's something that you'll get when you associate yourself with aviation. Aviation is something that when it bites you, that bug when it bites you, you get passionate. This you will see it with the employees at ATNS, whom we've made ourselves at our international recognized academy called ATA. So we make our own air traffic controllers. We take them from grade 12 and then make them air traffic controller. They go through different disciplines. Some control the aircraft from the towers, whom everyone I think here will know about. But there is a whole lot of employees that are sitting behind the screens that are making sure that the aircraft are separated and do not collide. And we're here today celebrating 30 years. We were born at the same time as our sister company, AXA. We are celebrating 30 years of zero free accident. We have never been involved in we have never caused an accident between the two aircraft that we control. And this has been enabled because of the infrastructure that we have deployed throughout the country. And this is the infrastructure that is making sure that the pilots are able to navigate, we're able to see them through our surveillance system, and they're able to communicate with our air traffic controllers. And these are the air traffic controllers that we've made ourselves. The same with the infrastructure that we've developed. We make sure that the people who are going to deploy and maintain the infrastructure are trained at our academy. And this is the academy that a lot of people who are sitting in aviation in the continent, some of them are the seniors or the CEOs of the company who have been trained in this academy throughout the continent. And I'm here because we are in support of Transport Month. We believe that skills development it's our heartbeat, because the people at ATNS are the ones who are keeping the sky safe. And here with me, Minister, I've got some of the testimonies, because we believe in evidence at ATNS. I've got someone, for example, one of the ATCs whom we have taken from grade 12. I think he can stand up so that people can see him. Manala, where are you, HB Manala? He's an air traffic controller that we have made from grade 12. Today he's a specialist. Actually, he's now in research and development, because as ATNS we believe in innovation. And this is what we are doing with our very own people. We also have one of our engineering technicians. We call them ATSEB. If I start explaining the acronym, I think we'll finish very late. She's here as well. Urifile, where are you? If you can stand up so that they can recognize you. This is the engineer. This is an engineer that has been trained as well at the ATA. They would have come with the degrees, because what we also did, Honorable Minister, is to partner with the universities of technology, so that before they could graduate, they will come to the ATA to ATNS to come and gather the experience. And today we're having one of the beneficiaries. Actually, the lady that I'm talking about, she's leading an organization of the engineers in South Africa. And this is the organization that subscribes to an international organization that is called IFATSIA. I'll leave you to Google that one. We also believe that we live in the community. And this community will ultimately find itself maybe working for ATNS. So what we have done, we've partnered with the schools as part of our CSI project. We have deployed the science labs in most of the schools that we are supporting. We also provided computers. It was so humbling to see some of the younger ones who have never seen a computer trying to type on that computer. And this is the person that tomorrow can be maybe the CEO of ATNS, who knows. And we also believe that because most of the infrastructure that we procure is outside the country. So we as ATNS, we have now developed a transformation strategy and an incubation strategy. strategy. As part of implementation of that strategy, we also partner with the strategic partners who are locals. I'm proud to say that as one of the beneficiaries that I hear, Honorable Minister, we've got people who are coming from Ntsu. Ntsu Academy is an SME that we have partnered with as part of enterprise development, and today they are offering an RPL course on drones, and I've got a good number of those beautiful young people who are wearing blue, who are now going through the RPL program. And these are the people, when they complete, we're going to work with other stakeholders, be it in security, agriculture, and can be deployed all over so that they can be able to get their jobs. I think now I must just end here, because if I start talking about the good stories of what HNS is doing, I think we'll finish very late. Thank you.
Austanda, you were 2 minutes to get a selfie, but you're just 2 minutes late. You almost got a selfie, but next time. Deputy Minister, you are asked outside for an interview. One of the radio stations is looking for you. I'm allowing you, Deputy Minister, with the powers vested upon me, through the Minister and the DG. We are allowing you, Deputy Minister. It's not always, it's always nice to give instructions. Deputy Minister, my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, from Siyakha, SACAA, I'm going to welcome Mrs. Poppy Koza.
Thank you very much, Program Director. I wish to acknowledge the presence of the Minister of Transport, Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga, the Deputy Minister of Transport, the Director General, the chairpersons of the boards from state entities, the DDGs, the CEOs, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. The SACA, which is the South African Civil Aviation Authority, celebrates 25 years of its existence next month. We first opened our doors on 8 October 1998, and the government was very clear when they gave us a mandate, and they said to us, we must go and regulate the civil aviation industry and make sure that there is order and compliance. So everything starts and ends with the South African Civil Aviation Authority. Simply put, if the airports company South Africa misbehaves, we withdraw their permit. If the Air Traffic and Navigation Services misbehaves, we take away their approval. If the airline is non-compliant, we ground. If the pilot is misbehaving, we withdraw the license, and so it goes. So everything starts and ends with the South African Civil Aviation Authority. Minister, as the South African Civil Aviation Authority, we've dedicated the last 11 years, if I may quantify it, of our existence in establishing ourselves as a center of excellence. We crafted a set of values upon which the South African Civil Aviation Authority is anchored. Our values tell a story of an entity that does not only embrace our mandate, but one that aims to provide an excellent service to the civil aviation industry as entrusted upon us. One of the aims to carry out this mandate is to carry it out with integrity, working and depending on each other as a team, but also working with our shareholder, which is our ministry and the Department of Transport, the board of directors, and the broader civil aviation industry. We do not see our work as complete unless we have the buy-in of our valued stakeholders, and we acknowledge that we cannot guarantee aviation safety and security of this industry unless we collaborate with our partners. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of the Civil Aviation Authority, I must say, is best told by highlighting some of the achievement that we have made in the past 25 years. As a Civil Aviation Authority, when it comes to the issues of governance, in the past 11 years, when the Auditor General started auditing the Civil Aviation Authority, We've recorded 11 unqualified audits. Of those 11 unqualified audits, 10 are clean audits. As a matter of fact, in the 2022-2023 financial year, which ended in March, again, South African Civil Aviation Authority had a clean audit with 0 findings. So, in terms of ensuring the issues of governance, we challenge ourselves on a daily basis, and our philosophy is one. We cannot demand excellence and compliance from the industry if we, as the regulatory authority, are found wanting on governance issues. In more than 36 years, when it comes to our core mandate, South Africa has not recorded any fatal accident in a scheduled airline sector. So, over 36 years, carrying more than 2 million passengers on a monthly basis, 0 accident. And it means that it is not only the regulatory authority, but we work together with our partners and the civil aviation industry to ensure that as you board those aircraft, the one thing that you can be concerned about perhaps is whether your luggage will make it on time, or whether how are the meals going to be like on board an aircraft, and whether whatever that you've ordered will be available. But the least of your worries is whether you are going to land at your destination safely. And I think that is a good story to tell in our country. Just recently, we were audited by the International Civil Aviation Organization, which is a UN agency responsible for global civil aviation. And they've said to us, in fact, they've said to the ministry, you now rank number 1 in the African continent, having surpassed the 90% mark in terms of compliance. When the minister went to Canada last year in October, she had a meeting with the Secretary of Transportation, her counterpart, as a matter of fact, the Minister of Transport of the US, who said, I needed to give you this news in person. South Africa is doing exceptionally well and has in fact retained the Category 1 status of the United States Federal Aviation Administration category. And that means any South African operator wanting to operate to the US does so without any hindrance whatsoever. And that speaks to the regulatory environment that the Department of Transport under the ministry and ourselves as the regulatory authority and our key partners have made it possible to achieve. We still, Minister, have a bit of a challenge in the general aviation sector. Private flying, where myself and my family decide we don't want to drive. We will depart from one of the small airports from here to Polokwane, and we don't do compliance checks and so on. We don't maintain our aircraft properly. You know, those small ones, it's very, very small aircraft. Then we meet up with an accident. We are working very hard because the minister has given us an instruction that we must ensure that the general aviation sector reduces aircraft accidents by 50%. And I do believe that we are well on our way in ensuring that we see a reduction in accidents in that sector. When it comes to the issues of cargo security, we've equally received a recognition from the United States as well as the European Union, which have said your systems and your standards are in fact on par with ours. And therefore, we want to give you a permanent recognition. What that means, our air cargo operators are no longer subjected to all these very expensive regulatory processes, which are very costly, and they can just operate to the EU, to the US, and the entire world without any hindrances. And that contributes significantly to the socio-economic development and growth of our country. Of course, we have to move with the times in terms of the 4IR, and we embarked on an automation journey. We are busy automating all our systems, but we started with one of the biggest projects, which was to convert the paper licenses. And we've migrated now to these card licenses, which are very difficult to replicate. And we do so because the value of our licenses globally, our licenses are well respected. Our licenses, our license holders, pilots and so on, they are in fact well sought after. Many of them are operating in the Middle East, in the US, in Europe, and so on. And therefore it means we've got to ensure that we protect our licenses with all we have so that they are not abused and or misused. We've also launched a contact center, which of course assists our industry to transact with us in a seamless manner. And that client contact center operates from 7 in the morning until 5 during weekdays. But you are able to equally communicate with us via our interactive website, where you can do your applications, but also renew your certificates and do online payments. The journey of the automation is well on track, and we believe that in the next 2 financial years, we would have automated all our paper-based systems into a more automated environment. Minister, in terms of transformation, we've accelerated in the past few years representation. The Civil Aviation Authority is indeed a transformed authority, with 51% of the staff complement being female, competent, professional. They know exactly what they are doing on a daily basis. We have 89% of our employees being black, and the executive committee is 50% female, and our board of directors is 60% female. So we are indeed a transformed organization. Our biggest challenge, though, is the transformation in the civil aviation industry. And we are working hard, as the minister will be talking about some of the transformation initiatives to turn the corner. We do have our BESAs in our midst, Minister. Some of them are in fact going to France on Monday to go and be trained as pilots. Some have just returned from France, having graduated with the highest license, which is the ATPL. And we are very excited. We've got majority of our BESAs training in South Africa because we have very good schools, but we are now trying to benchmark and see how best we can always push the boundaries and ourselves to ensure that we have and or rank the best in the world. I'll quickly ask our BESAs, our learners, trainees and interns just to stand up so that the minister can acknowledge and recognize you. These are your future captains, Minister. These are your engineers, aeronautical engineers. Others are aircraft mechanical engineers. Others are training as pilots, and so on. So the future is indeed bright for our civil aviation. As a parting shot, as you travel, as you board those aircraft on a daily basis, at the back of your mind, please be always mindful that there is a regulatory authority who ensures that your safety is of paramount importance. Many of you, as I did indicate, as you board your aircraft, aviation safety is the least of your problems. I want to take this opportunity to equally celebrate the diligent, competent, dedicated women and men of the Civil Aviation Authority. And I say, consistent with the theme, we will continue to build Siyakha, and the flight does not stop here, Minister. We continue flying higher and higher. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mekoza. I'm encouraging you guys to please be the future engineers. Because me and some of the people who are here, I used to have a dream of being a doctor. And now I'm just a comedian. And it's not nice when you go to work telling your kids about your job. Imagine the suffering in me, telling my child, I'm going to joke. It's easy with you, you're a CEO, you're a DG. You know, that position is strong. But telling your child, I'm going to joke. You can even ask the practitioners in government department. They had dreams of becoming medical doctors and lawyers. They are capturing in the departments. Sorry, friends. Ladies and gentlemen, the national launch of the 2023 October Transport Month campaign. We are live at Gallagher Convention Center in Midrand. Live and exclusive. Without any waste of time, ladies and gentlemen, these are the CEOs giving us the testimonies from transport entities. We are now going to move and welcome Mr. Reginald Demana from Sanral.
Good afternoon, Program Director. I will be as short as I am. Honorable Minister, thank you for the opportunity. Deputy Minister in absentia, DG Mlau, DDG, as well as other DOT officials, board members, fellow CEOs and executives from the transport entities, special guests, officers, learners, very welcome. Media, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. My name is Reginald Raveresani Demana. I represent Sanral, the South African National Roads Agency Limited. This entity turns 25 years. In fact, it turned 25 years in April. It was formed in 1998 on the 1st of April. I'm sure, Minister, those who thought it was an April Fool's joke are either very disappointed if they're still alive, or they are still wishing that something might happen. But we have grown from an entity that had about 7,000 kilometers of roads when it was formed to about 24,000 kilometers today. So that's 3 times the growth. We are 100% owned by government. So wherever you see Sanral roads, just note that you are seeing the Department of Transport represented by Minister Chikunga there. The roads that we manage includes the roads that most of us travel on. N1 from Cape Town to Mosina, N2, which is the longest road in South Africa, from Cape Town, passes through Eastern Cape, KZN, and it terminates in Mpumalanga in Ermelo. N3 from Durban, right here to just about Germiston, as well as the likes of N4, which goes from one end to Maputo and from the other end to the border of Botswana. So these are certainly some of the roads that carry most of the traffic. The roads that really drive the economic corridors of the country. Here in Gauteng, I'm sure you know us for the e-toll network. Yes, the wonderful roads that we drive on, we may not want to pay for them, but I do, were also built under Sanral. We are on our path to grow to 35,000 kilometers, and we think that about 5,000 of those kilometers will be transferred from provinces in the next 12 months. In fact, certainly much shorter than that, if the minister has a wish. So why is Sanral important to the economy of South Africa? It is because even though it manages only 4% of the road network, and by the way, South Africa's road network in the global context is the 10th largest network globally. And the paved, that is the tarred roads, is the 19th longest in the world. That deserves a round of applause. Now, in line with the theme of the 18th October Transport Month, indeed the government of South Africa is building and delivering infrastructure. We continue to build that infrastructure. This 4% of national roads carries 40% of all kilometers that you and I drive. So when you see roads driving on all, when you see cars driving on all roads, 40% of those cars are driving on 4% of the network. It is therefore the heartbeat of the economy. It is a very important network. For freight, now these are my colleague Lois's clients, the trucking industry, the freight industry. 60 to 70% of that traffic is driving on 4% of the roads. It means there is a lot of pressure for it to be maintained and to be kept in good shape. But of course, government continues to build. Some of the examples of what we are delivering in action, for those who drive through the N3 to Durban, N2, I'm sure you are getting inconvenience with stop and goes between Pietermaritzburg and Durban, where we are expanding that entire road to look just like the e-toll roads, 4 or 5 lanes in each direction, so that we can improve the flow of traffic. For those who watch TV, you would have seen National Geographic, our big bridge, Msikaba in the Eastern Cape, which is going to be one of the highest bridges in the continent, and the second longest stable cable stayed bridge in the continent, was showcased in National Geographic. Now it's to a global audience to show you the engineering excellence that is delivered right here in South Africa by our own. We recently opened Montrose Interchange, that is on the N4 towards Mpumalanga, just outside of Mbombela. And really there we removed one of the most dangerous spots on the N4. It was a T-junction, and it is now a free-flowing interchange that requires traffic in both directions not to stop at all, thus removing one of the biggest hazards, which is right turns in the middle of the road. So that has been removed, and the minister opened that interchange recently. Now, coming to the extent of how we've been contributing further to the economic recovery program of government. The year ended March 2023, we approved contract awards to the tune of 51 billion rands. That's a lot of money. Those projects, and that is compared to 22 billion in the previous year ended March 2022. So that accelerated momentum has now translated into roads and construction work that you see across the country. Of course, with construction work, it means we create jobs, we create opportunities for SMMEs, we create opportunities for local communities to benefit through economic activity that is passing through their communities. And that, again, is an example of government delivery in action. At any given point, in our sites, we have about 20,000 people working. Of course, with construction, some jobs would be 6 months, 8 months, 12 months. But that translates to some 10,000 full-time equivalent jobs that will be working on SANRAL sites at any given point in a year. Now, lastly, to skills development. Very excited to see the learners there. We fund learners, we fund schools, maths and science programs, we provide bursaries and scholarships from grade 8 all the way to grade 12. Maybe just to, there we go. So we provide bursaries and all of that, as well as at universities. We have a program, we have an academy called the Technical Excellence Academy at Central. It's based in Tebeha, where we take graduates from university and we take them through training to become registered professional engineers with the Engineering Council. That program has trained over 120 people. I think over half of those are registered engineers. Honorable Minister, I think I have one or two of those that are here with us, if you can stand up. That gentleman over there will be graduating. They will be registering as an engineer. So certainly to the learners, it takes hard work, but it's doable. From there, you can also come and be here on the podium one day. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much, CEO. That power failure, it was just an advert. Don't worry, I got your back. The last to give testimony from SAMSA, Mrs. Zama Chonko. Did I get it right? Okay, I'll practice. Me Zama Chonko. Did I get it right? Okay, thank you.
No, don't worry. Good afternoon. Minister, I think there's a reason why they chose to have SAMSA last. I think they do understand the troubles with docking a vessel. And therefore, they suggested that SAMSA should be last so that we could take our time as we try to dock this vessel. Safely so. Minister of Transport, Sindisiwe Chikunga. Deputy Minister, Mr. Lisa Mangcu. DG, Advocate Mlau. MECs present here, board chairpersons and board members. CEO of the transport industry, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols observed. Before I introduce you to who SAMSA is, and I wish I'd been given more time, Minister, because I think there is an importance of us speaking about maritime. Many of us would have only heard about the ocean and understand the ocean to be a place where we go to have fun, we swim, but we are never introduced to the economy that the ocean provides, or how it can contribute to our economy. Minister, let me first say, a wise person once said to me, you cannot start speaking about goods in South Africa unless you have spoken to how they will be transported in South Africa. In accordance with the National Development Plan, it estimates that 80% of trade occurs via our oceans. Minister, therefore, I am of the opinion that maritime, or rather our blue oceans, ought to be at the top of any agenda that discuss the South African economy. Minister and Deputy Minister, or maybe let me say, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce SAMSA. SAMSA is the South African Maritime Safety Authority. It was also established on the 1st of April 1998, so Sandra, we do share a birthday. We were mandated to ensure the safety of lives and property at sea. So all the vessels that you see when you go to Durban, you go to Cape Town, you go to Richards Bay, our responsibility is to make sure that that vessel is safe. And second to that, anyone who is within that vessel is also safe. So when an incident happens, and maybe you're reading the papers and you hear that an incident has happened at the ocean, we are the first to be called. We are the first to go down and ensure that we can rescue life. We are also the people that are called to ensure that we are able to rescue the vessel. Ours is to also prevent and combat pollution of our ocean by ships. So when you do hear that there was an oil spillage, you best know that SAMSA is there. And also is to raise the awareness of the Republic's maritime interest, and something that we pride ourselves in being able to do, or rather honored to be able to do. Our mandate goes to 300 kilometers of the sea, one of the largest in the world. We are also responsible for the Maritime Rescue Coordination Center, which is situated in Cape Town. What we basically do there is anything that moves on our ocean, we know about it. So if there's a specific ship that enters our blue ocean, we will know who it is and what they are doing here in South Africa. Obviously, we do not do it alone. We do it with a lot of partners as well as the Department of Transport. Minister, SAMSA's 25 journey has been met with smooth storms as well as very rough seas. Amidst the rough seas, we have been able to transform the maritime sector through our bursaries as well as scholarships. We have sponsored over 110 learners and students, who some of them are actually here with us. Minister, this has been done, or the sponsorships have been done through the Low Hill Maritime School, varsities of technology such as the DUT, CPUT, as well as the University of KwaZulu-Natal. We've also been sending our students, as you have correctly mentioned, Minister, to the World Maritime University, where, Minister, you serve as a member of the Board of Governance. Thank you. Minister, through working with partnering with other government stakeholders as well as private stakeholders such as the International Maritime Employment Council, we have been able to secure the employment of our seafarers, something that we have struggled with, Minister. We have also received a commitment that 90% of the seafarers that will be employed will be females. And this speaks to the fact that the IMO did report that 1.2% of seafarers are actually females. And that's very disappointing. It further also, Minister, this partnership showcases the seriousness at which we as SAMSA take gender inclusivity within the maritime sector. We also, Minister, hosted in FY 2022, the first of its ever kind gender-based violence seminar in Cape Town. Speaking to the challenges that are faced by our seafarers at sea and the need to find solution for the welfare of our seafarers. This was well attended by industry as well as ship owners. Minister, I am proud to say that SAMSA has also passed its standard of training certificate and watchkeeping of seafarer audit, which was conducted by the panel of experts from IMO. The last audit that we had was in 2006. So you can understand how this is important to us. Further, how it is important for the employability or global employability of our seafarers. I must then come back, Minister, to the mandate of SAMSA, which speaks to the safety. I am proud to state that the South African waters are considered to be one of the safest in the continent. Those that sail our seas do not fear being stopped or being robbed, or any piracy, being robbed of their goods. South Africa is safe. And Minister, I can only thank the strained SAMSA team and our partners for the collaboration in ensuring the safety of our seas, of the South African water. Which is important in creating opportunities to attract investors for job creation, job and employment creation, as well as the contribution to our economy. Minister, as the maritime sector, we are the first to acknowledge that more needs to be done. We need to invest in the maritime sector. We need to talk more about the maritime sector. We need to ensure that we invest in our maritime domain awareness infrastructure and our technical skills that we continue to lose to international platforms. We as SAMSA, we remain committed to putting effort to sailing our industry into a transformed, vibrant, and innovative sector. SAMSA has a maritime growth and transformation strategy that we continue to implement and review, which is looking at ship registration, which you spoke to, Minister, and one which is very important to South Africa in terms of creating opportunities for our seafarers, but also contributing to our economy. The employment of our seafarers, as well as the welfare of our seafarers. Minister, as I conclude, please allow me to introduce some of the beneficiaries that we have at SAMSA, or have benefited from the work that SAMSA has done. We also understand that maritime is not only about the seafarers or those that go at sea. There needs to also be maritime support, maritime administration. I would like to introduce you to Joanna Matladi, and I'd like you to stand up. Minister, Joanna moved from being a cleaner and now being the face of SAMSA through the investment that SAMSA has done. Minister, allow me to introduce you to Puti Mapuja. Puti has also had quite a remarkable journey with SAMSA, from being an unemployed graduate, joining SAMSA as a cleaner, and today she is the travel and SCM officer. Minister, allow me to introduce to you Tulani Hlope. Minister, this is our seafarer registrar. So if ever you need a certificate of competence, a book for our seafarers to be able to travel, this is the man that leads that division. Minister, I have docked this vessel. I thank you.
Like Jordan, girlfriend on the bullshit, that's Taurus. Start signs.
I believe the phone is yours. CEO, can you please? And I've noticed something that, because I don't know if I'm ignorant or not, I always look at your hands. If you're not wearing a ring, I always think that you're not yet married. I'm also not married, CEO. 076, so this is the perfect platform, guys. I mean, where else? Yeah. I want to see the news there from media. MC takes CEO. Dilodi change it. We are building, we are launching, we are showcasing our infrastructure, and we continue to build a better South Africa for all. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any waste of time, from the Department of Transport to give us a keynote address. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great pleasure and honor to welcome Sindisiwe Chikunga. You can keep them going, guys.
No, thank you very much, Program Director. Let me acknowledge our Deputy Minister, Honorable Lisa Mangcu, Deputy Director General of the Department of Transport, Advocate Mlau, HODs from different provinces, chairpersons, board members, CEOs of our transport entities, chiefs and captains of the transport industry, learners and teachers, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. First, I want to thank
men and women who serve in our boards as board members, who bring their skills, their expertise, and experience to ensure that our entities perform and perform well in terms of their mandates and in accordance with their legislations. I want to thank them that whenever we call them to such events, they respond. And I'm talking about very important people in their own rights. Some are in business, some are in industries, some are in universities, but they always respect us. We thank you very much for that. Today, we launch our October Transport Month campaign at the very tail end of September. September in South Africa is Public Service Month. It is a tourism month. It is an Arbor month. More than anything, it is a National Heritage Month, a month in which we celebrate our national living heritage. The October Transport Month is about showcasing service delivery and reminding the nation of the centrality of transport in our daily lives, both in our social settings and in enabling economic activities. For the duration of the month of October, we will be showcasing what we have achieved in delivering on our electoral mandate across all modes of transport. We will be telling the good story of progress in delivering road infrastructure and tackling potholes, of rehabilitating and modernizing our rail network in the aftermath of COVID-19 devastation, of manufacturing state-of-the-art trains for the continent and South Africa, of growing an aviation sector that continues to be a model for the world with our splendid safety record, and developing airports not only at home, but across the continent and the world. Of our modern and state-of-the-art traffic navigation infrastructure, we will be telling the world about what our SAMSA is doing. We'll tell the good story of massive investments in public transport with the ever-growing footprint of our integrated public transport network in our cities across provinces. But we will also share with our communities the missed steps, challenges we encountered since October last year, and how we mitigated or we will be mitigating around those challenges and those missed steps. Our aspirations for greater freedom, both socially and economically, continues to be defined with a country of great contradictions in which the majority of our youth, especially girls and women, continue to face debilitating and seriously discouraging levels of unemployment and industry participation, scarce opportunities in the acquisition of skills, and the risk of falling into the poverty trap. Glaring income and wealth inequalities continue to affect women, girls, and other historically disadvantaged persons, depriving these groups of meaningful participation in the economy and society. This is in addition to a context that shows only a slow transformation of our economy and thus greater exclusion of many South Africans from meaningful participation. Speaking of women and girls, we continue to see extreme levels of gender-based violence in society, work-based discrimination against women, and lack of access to skills or enterprise development opportunities across economic sectors, making it difficult for women to rise above conditions of poverty, which is so disproportionately borne by them. In August this year, we held the South African Network for Women in Transport annual general meeting to not only focus its energies and commitments, but to reposition it in greater favor towards responding to the needs of women in the transport sector. Today, we have a renewed SANWIT, and we would definitely want to see SANWIT growing so that women can benefit from the many infrastructure projects that we are talking about. We also appointed the BBBEE Charter Council and initiated processes towards the development and implementation of the transport sector codes, which are essential for the transformation of the sector in ways that must effectively respond to gaps in ownership patterns among several objectives. Today, as we launch this October Transport Month campaign, we will continue to reflect on commitments towards equity and empowerment. Our approach to empowerment and gender equity cuts across all modes of transport. As an illustration of our commitment to equity and empowerment in the transport sector, the Ports Regulator of South Africa plays a facilitating role in this regard. The regulator has made strides in leveling the playing field for historically disadvantaged individuals to gain access to the South African port system by monitoring the extent to which HDIs, particularly women, gain access and participate in the provision and management of port infrastructure and terminals, services, and activities. As a result, at least now, we can point at some of the black-owned companies that are operating in this space, something that was never heard before. This includes commercial licenses and leasing of land and port space for purposes of running port-related businesses, terminal operations, provision of port services, port infrastructure construction, and maintenance projects. The ports regulator's contribution includes establishing the only existing comprehensive database of companies contracting with the Transnet National Ports Authority to track and monitor the implementation of BBBEE in ports as a measure of compliance with the Act, but also the pace of progress with transformation through BBBEE in ports. While we acknowledge challenges in the transport sector loom large, our approach to this year's October Transport Month is an expression of our confidence on the positive impact of our interventions on the lives of ordinary South Africans. The confidence is aptly expressed in this year's October Transport Month campaign theme, which is simple: Siyakha. We are building better transport infrastructure to grow South Africa together. We are building world-class road interchanges, world-class airports, state-of-the-art boats. We are manufacturing modern trains, and of course, we have the best integrated public transport network that we're also building. The October Transport Month is a period in which we'll also celebrate anniversaries of 6 of our entities, of our 12 entities. On the one hand, ATNS Air Traffic Navigation Services, as well as AXA, mark 30 years since their establishment. On the other hand, we are celebrating 25 years since the inception of the Cross-Border Road Transport Agency, CBRTA, the South African National Road Agency Limited, SANRAL, the South African Civil Aviation Authority, SACA, and the South African Maritime Safety Authority, SAMSA. All these are 25 years, or turning 25 years today, this year. In celebrating this milestone, we will showcase how each of these entities has touched the lives of ordinary South Africans. Ladies and gentlemen, starting with the illustrious life of and the history of Airports Company, that is AXA. AXA has evolved and thrived, achieving significant milestones and successes that have not only reshaped the aviation landscape in our country, but have also earned global recognition. As we delve into AXA's history, we see that the first decade was dedicated to establishing a solid institutional foundation. It is noteworthy that AXA, as with ATNS, in this first decade, were established just a year before the ushering of our new democracy. The second AXA decade was a period of immense growth and development for AXA. The company emerged as a true global player, earning accolades and international recognition for its commitment to excellence. AXA Airports played a crucial role in the successful hosting of the 2010 FIFA World Cup, showcasing our nation's capabilities on the world stage. I can share with you today that many of the people who arrived in South Africa in 2010 at our airports, they looked for connecting flights to South Africa, because they did not believe that South Africa, a developing country, and probably the things that they'd heard about South Africa, that the airports that they were landing into were indeed in South Africa. This is the level of development of our airports. And we were there waiting for them and receiving them at our airports. And we were saying, indeed, you are in South Africa. You have a choice to ride Gautrain. And we told them that you have not seen anything. We still have our center. We still have our world-class hotels around our airports. This is South Africa. And they were surprised. During this time, AXA embarked on an ambitious expansion program, expanding its footprint and services to as far as Brazil and India. And you will remember that AXA became the first entity to hand over an institution to Brazil in 2014 before the start of the World Cup in Brazil. And that airport at Sao Paulo was built by AXA. The democratic government invested in and constructed the King Shaka International Airport in Durban. The third decade of AXA brought forth a mixed bag of challenges and opportunities for AXA, with the COVID-19 pandemic being the most formidable adversary. The global pandemic forced us to run a tight ship and take decisive measures to ensure the company's sustainability. AXA has emerged from this challenging period stronger and more resilient than ever, solidifying its position as a world-class airports management company. Ladies and gentlemen, in our reference to the milestones reached by the other 30-year-old entity is the air traffic navigation services, we can only truly marvel at the extent of the responsibility bestowed upon it, with significant way beyond our borders. ATNS intends to introduce comprehensive situational awareness across our entire area of responsibility. And I say here today, Air Traffic Navigation Services entity is responsible, in fact, South Africa is responsible for the 6% of the world airspace. And it does this by introducing technology into our existing technology portfolio. One of ATNS's proudest work is a groundbreaking partnership with Ariona, enabling ATNS to improve its satellite technology tracking capacity. The ATNS Ariona commercial agreement is a culmination of hard work, resilience, and commitment to improving safety within the aviation industry. Arion is providing the global air traffic surveillance system using airspace-based automatic dependent surveillance broadcast network, making it possible to extend the visibility of aircraft across the planet in real time. And this we are doing in South Africa. And the system has been operational in South Africa since 1 June 2023. I just want, because we have got learners here with us, to say something, even if the principal did cover that, but it is one of the areas that are of interest to me. That is the Aviation Training Academy. Let me say this. This aviation is an ICAO, which is International Civil Aviation Organization, the United Nations agency and specialized agency. It is the ICAO Regional Training Center of Excellence, and it is here in South Africa. It trains our air traffic controllers. And to young people there, learners there, if you want to choose to be in the aviation sector, you want to choose a career in the aviation sector, you can be a pilot, but you can also be an air traffic controller. If you come from a poor family, don't worry. All that you will do first is to study hard, science subjects, pass them well, apply. Then your parents will have to give you money for traveling from your home to ATNS. When you arrive at ATNS, we're going to accommodate you because we've got an accommodation. We're going to send you to class because we've got classes. And we're going to give you a stipend at the end of the month. So it is your choice. Once you are there, it does not matter whether you come from a family that is very poor. I come from a poor family, don't worry. But you will be able to study and study hard. But in order for you to be an air traffic controller, there are choices that you have to make today. Among the choices that you have to make today is not to use nyawope. 2, because you are so young, is not to drink alcohol. When you decide, when you are old, you will decide whether you want to drink or not. If you will decide to drink, you will decide on the alcohol you want to drink. Because at the time you will have money to buy it. So you will not drink anything. But if you don't want to drink like myself, you will choose not to drink. But today, you cannot choose to drink. It's not a choice for you. Your choice is to study and to study hard. Your choice is to respect your teachers. From Monday to Monday, what you are responsible for is you reading your books, taking any test that you write as an examination, as a way of assessing yourself, whether you're understanding what you are studying and what your teachers are teaching you. When you do that and make those choices today, then you will qualify to apply at ATNS for being an air traffic controller. When you do that, we train you, we give you a stipend, and we absorb you, we employ you. But I want you to understand this very well. no nyawupe there, no alcohol abuse there, because it is important for South Africa to sustain this record of 0% air crashes, particularly commercial aircraft, for commercial aircrafts. It is important because one commercial aircraft air crash, it takes the country back in terms of aviation. Immediately it happens. Anyone who may have booked to fly to South Africa and to fly that airline, they immediately cancel because they think that that airline is not safe. So we don't want, if you're not sure about whether you can make proper choices, then you're not suitable to be an air traffic controller or to be in the aviation set. But if you think you can make choices, correct choices today, then you can choose to be in the aviation set. And if you think that what we are saying is difficult, it is not. Let me tell you, it is not. We come from poor families. We come from poor families. Many of us seated here today, some of us who are big things, who are professors, many of us come from poor families. Some of us come from parents who could not read and write. But we are things and something. Take out the issue, things of ministers and all. We are professionals. We went to schools where there was no school, only a church. And the church was used as a school. We persevered. And today, we cannot regret that. So, what you are today should never determine what you will be tomorrow. So, your tomorrow is in your hands, and your tomorrow for now is up here. Then in the dress that you are wearing, the shoes that you are going, the underwear that you are going. Your tomorrow for now is up here. You may have the best shoe that you wear at school. But if here you don't make correct choices, you don't owe your friends anything. If they are wrong friends, you don't owe them, leave them. And go for the correct friends. If they force you to drink, tell them that I'm still young. I still have my liver to ensure that it lives so that I don't have to suffer liver diseases. Tell them and leave them. Let them drink. You don't owe them anything. In less than a fortnight, the South African Civil Aviation Authority will be celebrating 25 years of existence since first opening its doors on the 8th of October 1998, when the Civil Aviation Act was promulgated to establish a standalone authority. The DCA of Siyakha covered a lot of what I wanted to say. But I just want to say this and then explain something. In line with the brand promise of keeping you safe in the sky, and with one of the key values being service excellence, South Africa has maintained its exceptional record of a zero fatal accident rate in the country's scheduled airline operations in nearly 4 decades. But I just want to share with you this story, and I think it is important. I normally do it when I have students, and I will. Last year, in September, last year in September, I led a delegation, a South African delegation, to Canada to attend the 41st Assembly. It's a big meeting of all countries that are member states to ICAO. 172 of them. And South Africa is also a member of ICAO. So we had the delegation, and I was leading the delegation. We arrived there. You know, when you then go to the plenary. Believe you me, you can see that people, ICAO believes that it is this best professionally managed, specialized entity or agency of the United Nations. Even those people, when they walk, you can see that they're not just walking, it's nomi ganjani. They know what they are doing. And they process things, they think before they speak. They don't just speak like myself, they process things. They're very logical. They speak technology and technical words. You listen and somewhere you get lost. Here we are, seated. The assembly is starting. I'm sitting there in front of South Africa's flag, and the people that I'm going with, or there's somebody next to me from South Africa, it's the two of us, it's arranged that way. You can't falter. Behind me, there are people from South Africa, few of them, the rest, they are sitting somewhere there. The assembly had to elect the president of ICAO, of the assembly. ICAO last year was turning 78 years old. And this was its 41st assembly. In the 40 assemblies of ICAO, all of them had been presided by men and men only. And those men, in the majority, came from Europe, America, and probably East. So I'm seated there. I'm leading this delegation. Then the assembly president had to be elected. I sit there, honestly. Somebody raises their hand, pointed by the president of the council. Stands up. I am so-and-so from Czech Republic in Europe. I hereby stand to nominate the name of Miss Poppy Khoza from South Africa. Miss Poppy Khoza, she goes on and on and on telling us about our own Poppy Khoza. Okay? Yeah. She sits down. Another hand goes up. I'm so-and-so from India. I hereby stand to support the nomination of the name of Miss Poppy Khoza from South Africa. She goes on and on and on. Then, of course, remember, it's only when the president of the assembly has been nominated and appointed and elected that the assembly can then officially start. So here is Poppy from South Africa, from Dundee, standing from where we are seated to take the podium. We stood up, we applauded. I thought of every other young person in South Africa whose opportunities are such that they can actually be Poppy Khozas. I thought of every young person to say South Africa can produce many Poppy Khoza. And if you think that the Poppy Khoza I'm talking about is somewhere there in heaven and somewhere, no, here she is. Probably Poppy can stand up. This is the story. This is a good story that we need to share with South Africans. That people of the world recognize South Africans when we do not. She is the CEO, if you want, of Siyakha. She never asked permission from us to ground any aircraft or any airline. She just informs us. Because we know she knows what she's doing. She knows the story. But is she known in South Africa? No. We speak about everybody. I say she is here from Dundee, in part of South Africa, out there. Here she is. I'm saying to the young people, you can decide. If you don't have a role model at home, if you don't have a role model at home, everybody is abusing alcohol. This is your role model. This is your role model. We grew up not having role models. You have a role model, you can decide. One thing she didn't do, she didn't smoke nyawupe, she didn't abuse alcohol, and she was not a bully at school. She wasn't. There she is, recognized at world level. Believe you me, when she took up the stage and had to formally open the assembly, if you're from South Africa, you wished that everybody was watching that. You wished that this is the moment for South Africa to know what is happening at world stage. And when she stood there, believe you me, it wasn't the easy assembly. For the first time, you have, when we contest, there are 3 parts. For the first time, a country lost a position in part 1, and a decision had to be taken to say, what now? There's no history in the existence of ICAO where such had happened. She had to decide. And believe you me, she allowed everybody to speak. And then she prevailed as the president of the Assembly 2022 ICAO Canada. I tell a story because if I don't, honestly, probably I could have felt it, but it's me, I'm the deputy minister. It should have been me. No. It was Poppy Koza. And it should have only been Poppy Koza, not me. But many of us here, if we're serious, can represent South Africa at those platforms. The South African National Road Agencies, which is SANRAL, is also our own state-owned company responsible for construction and maintenance of the national road network. It is one of the key drivers of the country's economic recovery. You know, it is responsible for now, they own 23,559 kilometer road network. We have said they've got to increase the number to at least 35,000 kilometers. Oh, national. But sometimes we don't say that. No, they're beautiful. Sometimes you drive in the most known cities and you say, yeah, they've got paved roads indeed, but their roads are smaller than ours in Johannesburg. But you keep quiet, you can't announce it. And I'm talking about the most developed countries. But when you look at our national roads, they are so beautiful. They are world-class roads, and they are maintained at a cost. And when we do that, we have said to SANRAL, ensure that you empower our SMMEs. And indeed, they've set for themselves a target of 40,000 SMMEs over a 3-year period. This, we think, it is indeed one of their flagship projects. I also would want to say something that indeed, whilst we are celebrating this, particularly in the road space, but it is also true that we do have challenges when it comes to some of our smaller roads. I'm talking about some of the provincial roads and some of in fact, many of our municipality roads. I said in the morning, one thing good about us, South Africa, with whether they are poor or very poor or fair or good or very good roads, but we know them because they are proclaimed. For us, that is important. roads in South Africa are proclaimed. So they've got numbers, you know which road you're talking about. When you say, Minister, please go and assist us on a particular road, I say, which road? Give us the name of the road. And you say it's P1 warara, N1 rarara, R whatever. It's D whatever. And I will just go straight to that road because our roads are proclaimed. It is for that reason that our road network, it puts us in terms of its length, the total road network, it puts us at number 11 in the world, with a road network of 750,000 kilometers. It puts us at number 11 in the world. With our paved roads, which are tarred roads, we are at 159,000 kilometers, which puts us at number 19 in the world. That is not bad. But can we do better? Yes. I just always share this story with people, and it's a simple one. Dingan Tobela, many of us know him. He was an international champion, boxing champion. And wherever he went, he will say, I come from the dusty streets of Soweto. Dingan Tobela can't say that today. Because those dusty streets today are paved. For those who are born now, they will see the paved streets of Soweto. They were dusty streets of Soweto that Dingan Tobela ayiqhenya ngayo. This is what was happening in South Africa. This is the change that we have brought. Could we have done better? Indeed, yes, we could. But of course, road construction is not easy. The CEO of Sanral explained, you speak billions of rands, and you have got to share those billions with other needs that are pressing. I also want to say, indeed, we do have some potholes in some of our roads, many of them. We are attending to them. Are we going to have all our roads paved? It's not going to happen today. Even the most developed world, they still have gravel road. But one thing different is that they are able to maintain even the gravel roads. They are able to use technology, cheaper technology, which we're also beginning to use as South Africa, so that the money that we could have spent using whatever tar and whatever other known methods, we can actually double the number of kilometers that we repair using those technologies. The nanotechnology, I'm told, it is much cheaper than the normal tar. It gives you the trafficable roads. So these are the things that we're doing. We also have said to the private sector, assist us, because some of our roads are being damaged by your trucks. Please adopt these roads so that you maintain them on our behalf. We remain responsible for them. We also established the roads war room so that we are able to focus strictly on what is happening on our roads and know exactly as to whether we are patching potholes, and if we are not, we are able to then assist where we can. And Sanral, in this regard, we have said it can assist the provinces and municipalities, even if it is not as easy as all that. The CEO of CPRTA was here. He told us that not only are we responsible for South Africa, but also we have to ensure that there's governance across our borders, as in the facilitation of cross-border freight and passenger transportation. And we're doing this through quite a number of initiatives. One of those is what I think you must have mentioned, which is the Cross-Easy system. And this is beginning to gain momentum. Many of the countries in the SADC region, they want to import it, and we think it's going to assist in harmonizing the transportation of goods in the SADC region. SAMSA, the acting CEO, was also here. I just want to mention this because I think she covered a lot of what I wanted to say. That just last year, we hosted the International Maritime Organization parallel event. The whole world was here in South Africa. and were able to host the state-of-the-art, parallel event. They were here. They were surprised to know that just in Durban, you have companies that are building ships. I'm not talking about boats. That are building ships here in South Africa. They were surprised to know that we have dry docks where we can repair ships, which probably in the maritime or port sector or whatever is maybe even equivalent to servicing a ship. And that can actually, if we were to do it efficiently and properly, would make money as South Africa. And these children, when they choose those careers, they will find employment, because to service or to repair a ship, whatever the shipping company will pay, it is in US dollars. When you convert that into South African rands, it's not anything less than millions of rands, to an extent of maybe around 20 or something millions of rands. That will give opportunities to our young children. And therefore we're saying these are the projects that personally I dream about, to say one day we'll have it right there. And we'll have it right because you shall have chosen those skills and careers that will help us to be able to know what we need to do and how we need to do it. I just want also, because we've got children, to say something about road safety. The story of South Africa is a very painful one. It goes like this. It's a young boy from university, is lucky to get employment, get paid, buys a car, for the first time, gives parents some money. The first time, the mother is able to handle 5,000 rand from the son. The son goes on a party on Friday evening. They drink. In the early hours of morning, they drive from wherever they were drinking, hoping to arrive home. But they never do, and they die. This is the child who, for the first time, was a breadwinner in the family. The statistics are saying this story. And that child is a black son. It's not any other racial group. It's a black son owning a car from university. And I think I wish people from universities can hear this story so that in whatever curriculum they include this. Many of them, they come from families that are very poor, qualifying for NSFAS. Then they come, they die. This is the story that we need to share with our children, with our brothers, so that it doesn't happen. But what are we doing as the Department of Transport? In 2014-15 financial year, the RTMC took the strategic direction to develop the 21st century cadre of traffic officers by introducing the NQF Level 6 qualification, which of course improved what we had, which we still have, the NQF Level 4. Now, we have traffic officers who have national diplomas in traffic, whatever training. Some of them are seated here today. And I am saying, if you want to be a traffic officer, it's no longer the same as yesterday, where all that you required was to be less than 25, below 35 years old, have a matric certificate, any matric certificate, and anything. Now, you must have points that qualify you to actually follow a diploma, or to be actually accepted and admitted for a diploma training. That you need to do. If you want to be a traffic officer, you will have to apply. And we train them at our academy again. All that you require is your matric certificate that qualifies you in terms of points, also your driving license, below 35 years old, you must have money from home to our academy. After that, we give you a stipend and accommodation. We do this. So yes, as the Department of Transport, we also are trying to ensure, particularly for children from rural areas, to ensure that where we are not able to provide land transport, we provide these bicycles, the Shova Kalula bicycles. We are giving these for free to schools for them to give to children who qualify. In terms of the policy itself, it must be a child who walks a distance of 3 kilometers to school and 3 kilometers back home. But what we have discovered is that there are children who walk a distance of more than 10 kilometers sometimes. That is true. And we give them these bicycles. And when we do, we say to children and families, these bicycles are not for uncles. Akusizona ezomalume abahamba bayoshela ngazo. They are for you to ride them to school and back from school to home. When your parents send you to buy bread and everything, after school you leave this bicycle at home and you walk. Yes, you walk to buy bread. You don't use this bicycle. So when you ride this bicycle in the morning, we train you on road safety, but also we train you on security measures so that you don't ride the bicycle alone. If possible, you ride these bicycles as a group so that you are more secured than if you are alone. We train you on how to drive and to ride the bicycle. We train you. This is what today's government is doing to ensure that you access education. Otherwise, why buy these bicycles? Why give you bicycles? The purpose is to ensure that you access education better than what happened to many of us. I just want to go and sit down now. I'm saying to you, to young children, because we are old, we know what to do. I'm saying to you, you may be poor today. I repeat this. You may not be having the beautiful uniform you want. You may be having one pair of trousers that you wear for the whole year, or a skirt that you wear for the whole year. You may not have money for fancy hairstyle, but you have your brains. And your brains will set you free. It depends. It depends on what you do today. Anyone who met me at a lower primary school, anyone would have thought that I would be nothing. My brains saved me. The situation itself was not conducive, but my brains, the environment in my head was conducive. I had one pair of amahlepasi, not shoes. Today, I buy shoes as and when I want. Not because I'm minister, no. Even as a professional, live out this political position, as a professional and as an employee, as a public servant, I could still buy the shoes that I wanted. So what you are today does not mean that you will be that tomorrow. It's up to you to choose to either go up or go down. It's your choice. And we say to you, you can choose to be the eagle and fly up and fly above the clouds and be this best person of tomorrow. And I thank you.
We're gonna talk about feelings tonight. We're gonna talk about all the things that I've always wanted tonight. You're gonna be making up for all.
We are launching, we are building a better South Africa. And it's evident enough how fired up the minister is. At some point, she left her speech and spoke from the heart to the learners. Umama Kulumil, it's up to you. Ladies and gentlemen, we're still at Poppy Koza Convention Center. Well, I had to say it. Before I call DDG, I want to make some few announcements. Learners, please be seated when we... you'll be seated. We will guide you in terms of where you're going to get your food. Food will be served just after the radio station's media houses on the left side. We will also guide you on that. The important announcement is that the next program, the Sanral 25th year anniversary celebration happening in Santen, it's a black tie event. They ask you to dress accordingly. Start at 17:30. If you don't have a black tie, you can always ask us to replace you. Can I call one officer? There's keys that we have to hand over to the lady there. One officer who's single, you can come forward. Mara ujola le Tsulu. How ujola le Tsulu? Oh, it's fine. No, okay. Tsulu ke ex ya how. It's okay. No, hamba baba. Now I'm going to call Mr. Matapata Mokonyama, the DGG from Public Transport, to guide us in terms of handing over the bicycles and also to do the vote of thanks for us. Oh, I'm looking for you there.
Program Director Wankolot. I'm doing two things, being one. So DG, a third will come to me of the payment. Program Director, thank you very much. Dumela wa reki betega spitinyana. Ki rete bagolo ba rena Minister, Deputy Minister in absentia, DG, HODs, chairpersons of boards, board members, CEOs, colleagues, distinguished guests, members of the media, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to do two things. Substantively, I've been requested to do a vote of thanks, but then I will also then guide the issues around bicycles. You see, vote of thanks is for us, Program Director. Three things to watch, but basically two. Kakwa kamrenga go sankha di perfume go khasalons le rap. At functions, meetings, conferences, and events like this, bagofa bare wena le ba chabase. Bagofa bo vote of thanks. Then you must know that you are old. Keynote address. I'm waiting. Let them be six. Let them be six, so that we accommodate the principals that are here, and then let's identify four learners. I'll call them plus the principal, chairperson wa SGB. Honorable Minister, this school is Alafang, Sikokatlehong. We're going to give them 100 bicycles, but for the purpose of this function, we will do a symbolic process, 6 bicycles that will come here. I'll ask all the principals here, not principal of school. The principals here are going to assist me. Firstly, it will be for Lelas Nobutle wa Chabalala, Dumisano wa Mutikani, Mkwani Lisegana, Lilaki Museki. You are going to stand on the left-hand side of the bicycles. My principals here are going to stand on your right-hand side, and then they will then symbolically pose for pictures. They will hand you the helmet. They will make you. They will. Batoli tushawa para the helmet. Batoli apesha kaspedi. The helmet. Batoli apesha safety jacket. Okay. And then balefa matsogo la amagala de bicycle chalena on behalf of the other learners, 96 learners that have been identified by the schools. Lekwela agere bara sabo malome agere. Yeah, asabo angele kichawa skolo. If we can just assist them in terms of them donning in wearing the helmets as well as the safety jackets, and then we do a photo pose. And then I'm going to therefore then, as we do this, start running them parallel, being mindful of the time. I'll be distracted. Okay, Banawa. Azura pelgano ya mabale bana ba ka le nalsana le energy akere ba thuse o di phuthulla agere ba re le tsare ntwe ka matsogong a lena ga bo future ya lena, so future ya di bicycle ka matsogong a lena le yona. Yeah, exactly. Principal Ogaina. Power school. Hey, who fit a governor school look at height? Principal. Maybe you should also come closer to the minister to just shake hands as a show of accepting the bicycles on behalf of the leaders. Yes, thank you very much. This is officially a handover of 100 bicycles to Alafang School in Katlehong. A round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That was short and sweet. Principals, just occupy your seats for 1 more minute as I do their vote of thanks. Yeah, we leave them here. The kids are going to, we leave them here. For the purpose of rounding off the program, my Director General, leave the kids standing there with those bicycles. Just for 1 more minute. Energy ngata mo. Ya wema. Erga awana ka mo site nyana plus le tla le iphile matla le malwetse a iphile matla re ka no ba se ba ema mara na le tla ema ke now program director, this other duty of mine, we as a department on behalf of the Director General of course and the minister, My duty is to do a vote of thanks, exactly that, vote of thanks. Let's thank all the speakers who spoke here. From the DG from welcoming us, to the Deputy Minister for setting the scene for us, to the CEOs who showcased what we are and who we are as the transport family. If you didn't know, now you know. Again, the passion of the minister with regard to this sector is parallel to none. More especially how we have aviation. So. And I don't know, Minister, every time Nakta Malwena, you always challenge the students, the young kids. Maybe I should just make a follow-up and see how many of those have taken the challenge. And these ones have promised me, I was seated with them there, that they will not disappoint. And they promised me that we will see their names the next time we talk about bazaars or beneficiaries of training opportunities in the department. But that was the speech, that was the passion. Pick it up, Banabak. Walala wasala. Again, I'm not going to waste any more time. I would also like to thank program directors. Normally they don't thank them because Baba Patel. But he was wonderful. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much. The people who made this possible, organizers, communications, ushers, everybody, give them a round of applause. And last but not least, give yourselves a round of applause. You were a very good audience. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, DDG. I will also want to reiterate the message that I've given before. The food station for all of us, turn right past the radio station's holding rooms. The VIPs will go to their holding room, and then the learners will be seated. Someone will come and guide you. So as VIP. And thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, Minister. Thank you so much. God bless you. Bye-bye.